We thank the coordinators and everyone for your work. Next, we're going to move on to the last activity of this session. Next, we present the Celebrating Diversity session by Airbus, which is a leading company in the aerospace sector worldwide and sponsor of the Global Engineering Dean's Council. We invite to the stage the moderator for this session, Professor Natasha De Paola. And the panelists that we asked to come to the stage will be Mrs. Clemence Bastien, Head of Employment Marketing at Airbus, Mr. Jerome Ronson, Managing Director at Airbus Chile, Mr. Jacob Tate from Morgan State University and recipient of the Diversity Award 2016, Professors Constanza Miranda and Gabriela Garcia from the School of Engineering at Pontificia Universidad Católica de Chile. Please, let's give them a big round of applause.
Welcome, everybody. We're trying to get everybody back to the room to start our last session. I hope you've been enjoying the conference. Even though we've been moving schedules and things around, this is our last session in which we are here together to celebrate diversity. So we are here with Airbus helping us in this celebration this afternoon. As you know, they're one of our partners in diversity for many years. I think this is last year was the 7th year of the Airbus Diversity Award, and we are looking forward many more years to come on that. So with not much ado, because we have limited time, I'm going to hand it over to Jerome. Let's see if I can say this right. Jerome Ronson. Okay. Good enough, Jerome?
That's me.
That's
Jérôme Ronsin, actually, you say in French. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Jérôme. I'm the Managing Director of Airbus Chile. So I hope everyone knows about Airbus as a group. Now it's a small, international and very diverse company of 120,000 people around the world. We have a direct presence in Chile since 2001. So it's almost 20 years that we've been feeling ourselves as Chilean, but actually our products have been flying from mid of the 50s, now with the Alouette helicopters in particular. So you basically know the group. It's made of 3 branches, Airbus Commercial, Airbus Defence and Space, and Airbus Helicopters. And the 3 divisions have been present in the last 40 to 50 years in Chile. We have around 130 helicopters of Airbus flying in the country and serving the population and the people. You basically have 3 of the largest airlines in Chile, LATAM, Sky, and JetSmart, who made the choice partially or fully to fly Airbus product. And one more example, and I'm not going to quote all of them way too much, but maybe you know that still the Fasat Charlie, maybe you know the satellite that is operated over the skies of Chile has been made and has been launched and operated also by Airbus. So we're very proud to be here for so much time. Airbus Chile, we are 100 people based in 20 minutes from here. It's a small company, but a diverse one. I think this is what we want to celebrate today, as you clearly mentioned. 100%, 10 nationalities. We have 2 women in the executive committee. So basically what we try to do is to live the values, not really talk about it, but live the values naturally. We have a lot of projects going on. I was told that I should speak only 3 minutes, so I'm going to be extremely short, and I'm going to quote 2 things that we do. One in particular is that in the next year, or even less, we're going to build up a simulation center, full flight simulation center for Airbus 320 here at Airbus facility. So you can imagine the technology behind a full flight simulator, and hence the necessity to contract the best engineers to run this kind of project. And also one more example of what we're doing in the region. For the helicopter division, Airbus Chile is not only managing Chile as a market, but we're also the regional base for the whole South Cone. So we're also trying to give sense to what we do. So recently we were highly involved in the sad stories of the fires, of the jungle fires that we had in Bolivia. So we were involved with the support of the French government and also of Airbus Foundation to see how we could make the best use of our helicopters and our engineers behind the use of those helicopters to make sure we can bring support to people who need it. So very happy to be here tonight and to support the central team. We hope that we will also be able to demonstrate. We're going to be here for a cocktail later, so if you have any questions, very happy to exchange further with you. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jérôme. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Very honored to be with you tonight here. The good news is that Airbus needs engineering talents, and I suppose this won't surprise you. Airbus needs engineering talents to fulfill our missions. And talking about our missions, I would like to come back to the new climate economy that Sir Munoz was referring to this morning. Aviation as a whole produces between 2 and 3% of the world's man-made emissions of CO2. This is according to the UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. And it is indeed our mission to allow the next generations to keep flying with complete respect of our planet. In the last 60 years, the aviation industry has cut fuel burn and CO2 emissions per seat kilometers by more than 80%. This means that, of course, the A320 going out of our final assembly lines today is a totally different product than the A320, which was out of the assembly lines 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. And the current roadmap of the aviation sector is in line with the COP21 engagement. So at Airbus, our mission is really to have a meaningful impact on the world by exploring sustainable aerospace for a safe and united world. So we need these engineering talents to contribute to our mission, and we need a lot of new engineering talents. At Airbus, we have 134,000 employees, and 50% of these employees work in the job functions of engineering, manufacturing, assembly, integration, and test. Among our total employees, 60% are graduates, and out of these 60% of graduates, 80% are engineering graduates. So we need these numerous talents from engineering, and we also need them to be diverse. And I'm coming to now the Airbus GEDC Diversity Award, which has been designed to foster diversity in engineering education. Having a meaningful impact on the world is also a key criteria of the projects that we've awarded for the past 7 years. Eligible projects have to demonstrate measurable results and show that they can be scalable. It is remarkable to hear about the award alumni have achieved, and I am delighted to meet the two of you today in Chile. At Airbus, we think that diversity helps us to reach our goal better, and that inclusion enables people to maximize their potential. So diversity is about, of course, people of varied abilities, about different social background, gender, and sexual orientations, but it's also about diverse educational background and skill set. At Airbus, we are actively working on the future of skills, and we publicly unveiled a few months ago our group competence strategy. With regards to engineering skills, the transformation resulting from digital design and manufacturing requires an enhanced focus on transversal disciplines and soft skills on top of the traditional disciplines. Engineers will be more and more required to work on end-to-end processes from design through manufacturing to the in-service life of the aircraft. Before I hand over to you, Natasha, let me remind everyone that this year's award is open for call for entries until November the 18th. That is to say, All the projects still have a month, to be matured and enter the call. For the first time of its history, the award will be awarded at Toulouse Airbus headquarters in France, and this is also to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Airbus. And the winners, the finalists, will be invited to present there. On top of the monetary rewards, we've also decided for this year to add a couple of coaching and mentoring sessions from Airbus engineering executives. So I would like to invite everyone to find out more at our stand tomorrow, if you can. And also thanks to the support of Carlos and Richard here to maybe try the goggles and find yourself immersed in one of our fabulous products. Natasha, now maybe let's hear more about our two inspiring awardees. Thank you.
Thank you, Clémence, for those remarks. Something that Clémence just said, and I want to reiterate is very important, is that Airbus is celebrating a 50-year anniversary, so the Diversity Award will be the winners, as we traditionally have presented the winner of the Diversity Award in our annual conference in the GEDC. This particular time is going to be in the Airbus headquarters. And I think an aspect that is very important that is added from this year, I guess from this year on, for the winners of the Diversity Award is not just the monetary prize, but they will be mentoring from the Airbus team, technical team. So I think this is great. So now what we're doing in this session, now comes the best part of it, is that we are going to hear from two teams, two past winners of the Diversity Award, and then have an interactive session in which we're going to learn from them some of their experience. I will quickly introduce them. First, I will introduce the project that was awarded in 2018, that was last year. That is Savia Lab. That was the project from the Pontificia Universidad Católica de Chile, so it is wonderful that we are here. It's home for them, and we are celebrating their accomplishment. The team is represented this evening by Constanza Miranda, which is an assistant professor at the Pontificia Universidad de Chile, and also with Gaby Garcia. So raise your hands so they know who is who. I think we have a photo here. Yes, that's the photo taken when they won. So they clearly very excited and confident about that. That was a tough competition. We have a number of wonderful finalists and projects. So I think, congratulations again. Let's see, the Savia Lab won the Diversity Award last year. That was presented in our conference in Albuquerque, New Mexico. To tell you just a couple words about the award, the Savia initiative seeks to bridge the gap of opportunity by offering science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, outreach education to indigenous minorities and young people in rural areas across Chile. So I would like to welcome Constanza and Gaby, give them a round of applause, and we're going to hear from them a little later. So our second winner today is somebody that's, has been working in this area for a number of years. Many of you know them well. It's our dear colleague, Jacob Astaque. He's the Assistant VP for International Affairs at the Morgan State University in the USA. Jacob was selected as the recipient of the 2016 award in the WIF GEDC Conference in Seoul in 2015. For his impressive introduction of technology and training initiative across universities in Ethiopia. For the past 14 years, he has worked to improve the delivery of engineering education in Ethiopia through teaching graduate courses, sharing best practices, and delivering training opportunities. It is not an easy job. I don't know how much you know of the complexities in Africa, so it's been a phenomenal job. So he worked for many years, and I think we will hear a little bit more today on what he has done since and his experience with that. So again, if we were to welcome Jacob, big round of applause to him. So now that you know a little bit about that, and those are winners that, with a gap, that was 2015 then 2018. So, they have had, the projects are different and different experience, the environment, the region is different. So I think what we'll do is I will ask them a couple questions and then so that we can learn a little bit more on their experience and the specifics of their award. So Constanza or Gabby, either of you, as our most recent winners, how did the Diversity Award make an impact on your project?
Yeah, okay, it's on. Thank you very much. First, we got really good outcomes from this. We had a wonderful project that was going on for a long time. Now we call it a pre-engineering project, and actually we're doing research based on our findings and on our learning outcomes from the students. So it has really come a long way after the award. That's how we invested the money. We just hired people also to do field research. So we're in, Chile is very long and very difficult to access. So we have people today deployed in all the regions, raising data from the teachers and from the students. That's the first thing. We got recognized by the university at the university level, which for us is really relevant. Because we were such a little initiative at the beginning, and now a lot of more people are involved. And third, it gave a sense of pride to our group of people that are working, our students that are monitors, and also to the teachers and students that are participating. So that's mainly the three big things that we got out from the award.
Thank you. I think that's great. So I guess in retrospective, you look in and thinking, well, that's great that we decided, your team, to participate in the award. So on that note, can you tell us a little bit about what motivated you to enter the award in the first place?
Well, sorry, Jacob. No, Jacob?
No, I think, no, the question is for you.
It's me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So as I said, you have all this impact, all the success. It's so exciting. You were even recognized by the university. So, you go back and say, well, this is great that you competed. So what motivated you? How did you decide to go and, fill up all the application and compete for it?
So as educators and researchers, we knew this had this early innovation project going on. We knew it was great, but we knew we needed to have something to scale it up. We needed to also disseminate our learnings. We've learned so much how to work with the state in policies to work. We have funding from the state to deploy this program today, and we've been able to vocalize more what's going on. So we thought that it was scary at the beginning to apply. It's Airbus, and it's in English. We speak Spanish, so we had to translate everything we had. We had to translate our videos. We are a very small team. And we just thought that it would be a great marketing opportunity to scale it up and to get people to recognize that SaveLab could also be a program that you can have in your own country. We have everything in public access. So in that sense, we are really very interested in that this just rolls on and gets into other places.
That's great. That's great. So it was that visibility that by participating in a global competition like that will give you the fact that you guys were doing something great, that you could see the impact that will have if you were to scale up. And then the Airbus Award will help you with that, with the visibility, will help also with the funding to do some of the work that you're doing. And I think it's also about demonstrating the world that the workforce here in Chile, and the work that the students and the teams can do is something important. So not just for Airbus, but for everyone to know that there is we hear often there are not enough engineers for all what we need to do. So when we look at the workforce and the training, students with the right attributes and talents, I think it's about employability and talent. So I think you were in the right track, thinking into how their work could help you, and I think you are now very successful in what you're doing. So thank you very much for sharing that. with all of us today. So, good. So now we go to Jacob. We don't have a lot of time because, among other things, we have a great reception waiting out there, so with some nice Chilean wine. And so I think, that would be a nice venue to continue the conversation, to go back and learn from them more what was the challenges they were trying to put their application, what have happened. And again, remember, the application for the award is still open. The deadline is November 16. There is a lot of 18, okay, sorry about that. 2 more days. We know that we can do great things in 2 extra days. We always wish to have 1 more day to complete our great projects and applications. So I think, so that is important. So, you want to talk to them, and if you were hesitating in applying or having some of your teams in your university, we can continue this conversation, of course, over the cocktail. And the reception. Now, Jacob, you are an old-timer.
Yes.
And so, it's been 3 years since you won the award. So that gave you a good chunk of time. So can you tell us what have happened in those 3 years? Anything remarkable that you want to share with us?
Sure.
Challenges or successes? We are here all ears to learn from you.
Yes, I echo what my colleagues said as far as why I entered this competition in the first place. I've been going back to Ethiopia for more than 10 years trying to support the universities. I was once a student in Ethiopia. I left in '88, and I knew that when I was learning engineering, we only had 1 lab station for the whole class. So it was hard to do hands-on engineering in a country where there's not enough access. So I said, one day I'm going to return and try to change. So fast forward, my colleague invented this new technology where we took something that used to take $10,000 and we compressed it to $200. When I saw that, I said that this is the technology that finally will change the way we teach engineering in Africa, where there's a lack of equipment. Africans can learn the theory as good as anybody around the world. The only problem they have is they don't have the skills, the hands-on training and laboratory equipment to practice. So when I found that technology, I jumped on it in 2009. I took it to Ethiopia and I started working on it 1 university at a time.
Yes.
So it took a while, and Ethiopian, African governments are hard to move. It was a problem with the Ministry of Education, so it was tough, but when I presented my work in 2016, I told GEDC that right now I have 5 universities that I'm supporting, and with this support and recognition, I will go from 5 universities to 10 universities. The award was amazing, and since 2016, there were some political problems in Ethiopia, and I knew that 2 things were happening. One was a new version of the technology was coming in 2018, and second, I knew that the Ministry of Higher Education was changing. So I had to be patient for 1.5 years until the right people were on top, and once the new technology came and the new Ministry of Higher Education came, when I told them that I had won the Diversity Award from 2016, but I was willing to spend the money, they were so excited that they invited, Ethiopia has 30 universities right now with engineering. They invited all 30 universities. And in last April, after 10 years of trying, I was able to train 20 faculty from 29 universities. So what took me about 8 years to do before the Diversity Award changed it completely, and now every university in Ethiopia is using this technology in pedagogy. So this is the dream I started. I thought it might have taken me maybe 20, 30 years to do it, but now, because of the award, every university in Ethiopia is willing to take that technology, pedagogy. Like you said, I travel to Ethiopia 4 times a year. This is on top of the work that I do at Morgan State.
Yes.
So this is on my free time. Yes. But now it makes it rewarding, and thousands of students in Ethiopia now are learning engineering at the same rate as any student around the world, and that gives me the passion to say that 30 years ago that was not happening, now it's happening, and for the new students I tell them, now you have the chance to learn at the same rate, and hopefully they can grow and build capacity locally.
That's a wonderful story of success. Big plus, yes. It's a wonderful story of success and impact. I will say that, you're absolutely right. The governments in Africa and Ethiopia are complicated. So you did this in the smart way. You were patient. I think the opportunity to have the visibility of the Airbus label in your project probably got the politicians a little bit more. So I think, here the Airbus Award was catalyzed
Catalyst.
in a way. So it was a good catalyst. really to help things to happen. I guess the government could not turn their head the other way. And I think they felt perhaps because of the visibility, the fact that it was global, the commitment. And I think sometimes, that's what it takes, because now that the government is supporting your initiative, I think you can really, really go far. And I love the way you speak about that this is now all universities in Ethiopia, all the students. So, what is right now, could you give us a number of how many students do you think has been impacted or benefiting from this at this point? You talk about 20 faculty, and that's already a lot of work to get people converted to some new, and 5 universities. So
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So this is mainly focused on electrical and computer engineering. Most universities in Ethiopia have about 1,000 students per university.
Wow.
So at one time, I was supporting, 5,000 students, because this lab kit can be used from freshman year all the way to senior year. And even the senior students will take the lab kit at home, which was a luxury for them to be able to take a lab kit and spend the whole semester to do your capstone design instead of just doing simulations. In theory, now they were actually building circuits. So now, fast forward, we have 29 universities. Each one of them have about 1,000 to 1,500 students. So we have the chance of saying that every year, at any given time, we can impact 50,000 or more engineering students.
Yeah.
And the hope is that even if 1% of those students becomes an entrepreneur in the future, they can say that I got the right training, and hopefully they will be able to start businesses and promote engineering education, and hopefully the country will be able to self-sustain, because my vision is, instead of graduating job seekers, I'm trying to help graduate job creators.
Wonderful.
And that takes time and training from the freshman year all the way to the senior year, because you cannot become an entrepreneur in 1 year, so that's the key.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I wanted to ask you, why do you think these initiatives are important? You already told us. I wanted to ask you what's next, what's the future, what is your vision? And I think you articulated in a lovely way. You really want the world,
Yes.
and I think we can continue the discussion. But I will ask to the most recent team, to Gabby and Constanza, what's next? What's the future? What's your vision? What would you like to do if everything were possible out of this effort and great project that you built here in Chile?
Well, one thing that we got to understand is that empowerment is really important in our countries, and it resonates completely on your project and on our project. We're starting with these pre-engineering programs really soon, planting the seed on kids. And we think that brings a diversity component early on. So we're going to have to solve less things later on when they are taking our classes in our universities. So for us, I think the future looks like growing these pre-engineering programs. This is the first pre-engineering program in Chile. We have several others for minorities at our school at the university level, but we are starting from really early on to polish. These kids come with other mentality. These kids, as Gonzalo said in the morning, these kids want to be sustainable, want to be diverse, they want to be fluid, so it's another world. So we have to empower them to take their own decisions, but with tools. And the earliest you give them those tools, the earliest they're going to be able to change their own future. So I think that goes for us.
That's wonderful. So, I want to thank you for all your comments. This is very inspirational. So I hope everybody got inspired from what you hear, what they have accomplished, starting with a very difficult situation and environment and challenge. It was really a challenging situation. So, and I think, again, I want to thank Airbus, for have supported this award that, have helped young people in the world to build into these projects and working with the students, and actually the impact is terrific. We probably have tons of questions for them. Let me check on the time. We actually have a little time.
We actually have to wrap it up, and they can continue the conversation.
Oh, okay. Yes, so yeah, we were told that we have until 6:20, but we won't have until 6:20. So what we will do is we'll wrap it up here with those final comments. Thank you so much. They're going to be outside in the reception. Those of you who can stay for the reception, please, just let's continue the conversation and having more questions. I think there is some change in time with the curfew, so I will let Carolina to inform you. Some of you may have to get going earlier than you thought. So again, thank you for your attention. A big round of applause to our panels today.